ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to Sunday Night Football overtime. Chiefs, Chargers, AFC West family business. If these two teams said they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, well, that's family business. And I could watch this family business every single Sunday. There aren't many rivalries in the NFL that I would watch in series form, best of 7. I'd sign up for the best of 7 of Chiefs Chargers any day of the week. They've played twice this season. Both were epic contests. They've played now, I think 6 times Herbert has played against them now in his career. And I think they said every single one of those games have come down to the wire, 1-score games. I can't remember watching one of those games and it not being close, where the Chargers didn't have every opportunity to win. For the life of me, I can't understand. And I know it's not as simple as, hey, stop that guy. If it were, teams wouldn't be destroyed by one player. But for the life of me, I can't understand how you can let the same guy do the same thing to you every single time. Every time they play in LA. And he might have gotten off on them in Kansas City earlier in the season. I don't quite remember how that game went. I just remember the big interception late. I remember the Chiefs offense struggling. And I don't think Kelsey had a massive game against them the first time. He might have had a couple of big catches, but nothing out of the ordinary. You remember the game on Monday night where he destroyed the Raiders and had 4 touchdown grabs. But every time, I remember a game very similar to this late in the season last year in LA where Kelsey goes apeshit, has the game-winning touchdown grab in overtime, a catch and run from like 50-some-odd yards out, killed him in regulation. And I just think to myself, how can you let the same guy get you again? And I always bring up Heathcliff, massive Heathcliff fan when I was a kid. And there's a dog up there, Spike. And his owner was tired of Spike getting beat up by a cat. Of course, that cat was Heathcliff. And he said, Spike, I'm ashamed. He said, no, I'm mortified. How could you let that cat link you again? And I just look at the Chargers and I go, I'm ashamed. No, you know what? I'm mortified. How could you let Kelce link you again? It's the same shit. Different, day, different week, different season, same shit. It's Travis Kelce one-on-one with some poor, helpless Charger defender. You laud and praise Derwin James. He can get work. You want to put a corner on him? You want to put the young Samuel on him? He can get work. Doesn't matter. Michael Davis, he can get work. Nasir Adderley, he got hurt. Doesn't matter. He can get work. I would not let Travis Kelce go one-on-one with anybody. If Sky Moore wants to beat me, if Justin Watson wants to beat me, if Marquez Valdez-Scantling wants to beat me, fine. Go ahead. It won't be 87. That's what it won't be. Who didn't know they were like, in that moment, when Mahomes ran down to about the 15-yard line or so, in that moment, who didn't know where the football was going? I damn sure as hell said, hey, anybody but 87. I'd put 2 guys on him. I'd bracket him. I'd do whatever I have to do. But it won't be one-on-one. I don't want to hear, I got Derwin James, and this is why we're paying him all this money. I'm going to lock my guy up with him. Nah, I'm good. I'm going to pass on that. Thanks, but no thanks. We've done that already. We've seen the results of that. I'm cool. Okay? Man's got 6 catches for 118 yards and 3 touchdowns. I don't need to see any more of that shit. How about we double team him? Just a thought. How about we put 2 defenders on him? One on the inside, one on the outside. He breaks inside. Hey, you take him. He breaks outside. Hey, you take him. Safety, you watch him over the top. If he decides he doesn't want to go in or out, he wants to go up, you take him. I know that devotes a lot of resources, but you got to find a way to make him go somewhere else. Either you do that or you got to blitz. You got to pick one, but you can't give Mahomes all day back there to throw. Make him make a mistake, make him make a decision he doesn't want to, or you got to take Kelce out of the mix. What a game, though. These two always do this. They always play these types of games that just make you say, damn, that was some good football. That was some good football. But as you know, Chiefs are going to win this division. Now, after sweeping the Chargers, there's no one in sight of these Chiefs. They're the number one seed in the AFC right now. I think they're the best team in the AFC. They're battle-tested. The only team that can beat them, and really they're two. I really think that three, because the Ravens, and I don't really trust the Ravens right now. They've got their own struggles on their hands, but the Ravens know how to play them. But it's really, to me, two teams. The Titans, and I don't trust the Titans to do a damn thing. It's really the Bills, honestly. That's the team. But if the game's played in Arrowhead in January, even though I know the Bills are fully capable, they've gone there in the regular season, each of the last two seasons and won, had them dead to rights last year in the postseason in Arrowhead with 13 seconds left and let them off the hook. So we know they're capable. But I would have felt a lot more comfortable had that game been played in Buffalo. That game won't be played in Buffalo. You know, Bills have their own set of issues that they're trying to work out right now. They just need to worry about trying to win their division. They can't worry about number one seed this or that. How about you worry about making sure you get a home playoff game? So these Chiefs, they did it again. Down 4, get the football. And when the Chargers were in the midst of trying to score, you know, before, and I'm one of those type of people. I'm not as concerned as much as I would like to burn clock, force the Chiefs to use their timeouts, this, that, and I just want to score a touchdown. Nothing is guaranteed. You know, I don't want to get cute and try to burn off clock and then mess around and don't even score the touchdown to take the lead. Have to settle for a field goal to tie the game up. Nah, F that. Get the touchdown when it's there to be got. So I'm not a big proponent of, waste as much time as you can. If you can do that in the process, knock yourself out, or force them to use timeouts, knock yourself out. I'm more interested in getting a touchdown, and whenever I get the touchdown, defense, go get a stop. That's the name of the game. It's no different than overtime. A lot of people bitching about, each team should get a chance. Go get a stop, defense. I don't want to hear that shit. Oh, my quarterback didn't get a chance. Go get a stop. Go force a field goal. Don't give up a touchdown. You don't want a chance to win then. Don't give up a touchdown. Chargers went and scored the touchdown. And, you know, as hyped as they were after, you know, Herbert throws the touchdown. And I'm thinking, man, that's impressive. Good job, Justin. But y'all about to lose this game. Yeah, this at a bare minimum, this shit's going to overtime. At a bare minimum, it's going to overtime. But you're probably going to lose this game. There's plenty of time. They've got 2 timeouts left. Yeah, this shit's either going to overtime or they're going to win this shit in regulation. Or, and there's a third option, or because they left 31 seconds left and the Chargers had all 3 of their timeouts, or this shit's going to overtime, which is what I tweeted out. And literally the very next snap after I tweeted that out, Herbert throws an interception. And everybody's like, I don't think this is going to overtime. Somebody's like, nah, not going to happen. I was like, yeah, mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. Absolutely. So, honestly, the Chargers are an interesting team. I'll just say this. We'll come back to the Chargers. Obviously, to the victors go the spoils. We'll talk about the Chiefs first. They've got a ton of injuries. That's been well documented. They get their 2 receivers back. One of them catches 1 ball and then turns his ankle again and leaves the game. He was never healthy to begin with. No one's convincing me that you get hurt 2 weeks ago or maybe 3 weeks ago. And we're talking a major high ankle sprain, not one of these grade 1 sprains. Nah, we're talking about a major high ankle sprain. Dudes don't come back in 2 weeks from a high ankle sprain. That's just not how that works, generally speaking. Now, I can't remember if that was a pre-bye ankle sprain or a post-bye. And he had 3 weeks to heal. 3 weeks, maybe. You're pushing it. But definitely not 2 weeks. I feel like it was post-bye. He only missed 2 games, and he miraculously came back. I was like, bro, he talking about he's 200% lie. The lie detector test detected that was a lie. Clearly it was, because he catches one ball, gets both feet down, and limps off the field and doesn't play another snap. So that hurt them. But Keenan Allen is more important to that offense than Mike Williams was. You saw that. You saw that tonight. Even though he had the fumble, he had the big catch on the 3rd and 18 to put them in a position to take the lead, which they ultimately did, 27-23. And so Keenan Allen's presence out there, huge. I want to talk about the young fellas, though. And I'm going to go to the Chiefs. I said I would come back to the Chargers. I want to go to the young fellas. How about Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs? First 100-yard game for the Chiefs since week 4 of last season in 2021. Obviously, they're not a heavy run team. They don't run it a ton. And when they do, they're effective, but they're not effective to the point where they're going to keep feeding and featuring the run game. But against this Chargers team, you can run it. Everybody does, okay? Everybody does. Everybody takes turns running the football on the Chargers, and it was the Chiefs' turn. Isaiah Pacheco tonight was a stud. And this is what makes the Chiefs dangerous, because you just don't know who's going to blaze you in any given game. All right. So you come in, there's no Juju Smith-Schuster. There's no Mecole Hardman. You're thinking, okay, 2 weapons down. All right. All they do is get Justin Watson 3 catches for 67 yards. All they get is Sky Moore. I want to talk about him as well. I said I want to talk about the young fellas. Isaiah Pacheco, 15 carries, 107 yards. That's 7 a pop, guys. Just for you out there keeping score at home. That's 7 yards a pop. Damn. And it's not like there's a 56-yarder in here that just bolsters this average. This was a consistent 8, 6, 7, 5, 3, 11, 4, 7, 6, 7, 7, 8, 1, 2, 4. I mean, it was consistent. Consistently getting chunks. Sky Moore. I've had some people talk about this guy's a bust. This, and that irks me to no end. But I don't let it get to me as much as I used to, because people are going to say whatever they want to say. And I'm not the biggest Sky Moore fan. I thought the guy was really talented, but I thought he was overhyped. I thought we overhyped him. I was guilty of it too. I fell in love with him, but then when I watched the tape, I was like, yeah, this is not as juicy as I thought it was going to be, But there is value in Sky Moore. And I couldn't think of a better team to place him on, because the Chiefs don't need Sky Moore. They want Sky Moore. That's the difference between a lot of teams that spend 1st and 2nd round picks on receivers, is those teams generally need that guy to produce. The Chiefs want Sky Moore to produce. They don't need him to produce. They're smart. They don't ever put that kind of pressure on young players, specifically at the receiver position. They surround them with veteran guys that allow them to come along at their own pace. And so Sky Moore, 7 catches the entire season, 5 in this game, almost doubled his output on the season in the game tonight, going from 7 to 12. He was huge in this game with Sky Moore. Big catch after big catch after big catch after big catch for Sky Moore. Jody Fortson with 2 catches early on, including a dime from Mahomes where the defender is right there and he's turning to locate the ball and the ball whizzes right past it, literally right past his face as he's turning around, which is why a lot of people say, why don't these guys turn around? That's why they don't turn around right there. That right there is why a lot of guys don't turn around, why they teach you not to turn around, but rather to play the hands of the receiver as he's catching the football and fight through the catch point. Because if you turn around too late, the ball may actually pass you as you're looking for it. You have no idea, but the ball's already past your head. So everyone's not confident in looking back for the football and locating it. The Chiefs, here's the thing I worry about with them. Defensively, they're solid, but they don't scare you defensively. Their secondary is so young and green and wet behind the ears. Their breath smells like Similac. They're babies back there. Then when you start having veterans drop, i.e. Juan Thornhill, it takes the defense and knocks it down another peg. They're already young guys littered up and down that secondary, specifically at the cornerback position. Then you're playing Cook, the safety out of Cincinnati, who's another rookie. There's a lot of youth back there, and I feel like teams can take advantage of that. If they don't get to the quarterback, I love their linebackers. Bolton, Gay, I love those guys. I love Chris Jones. I don't really care for anything else that's up front, including George Karlaftis. He may end up being really solid, but he's not my cup of tea. You've got a bunch of veterans. You know, Frank Clark is solid. Again, I'm not the biggest Frank Clark fan, but he serves a purpose. You know, Dunlap, all right, I think his best football has passed him by. But, you know, it's not. There's nothing wrong with having another body up there that's capable. But you know, in Colin Saunders, he's fine. Stops the run, does something. He's fine. But again, nobody moves the needle up there other than Chris Jones, if you ask me. So there's Chris Jones. Love the linebackers. And then you've got a super young secondary. To me, that's problematic. And then they don't create turnovers. You heard the stat that they were -4 in the turnover differential. They are now, I think, -3 because they were -3 after they forced the fumble of Keenan Allen. Then they gave it back with the fumble by Jerick McKinnon. So that pushed them back to -4 in the plus-minus category. And then they get the interception late. That makes it back to, you know, -3 in the turnover battle. So they're a team that wins despite not creating turnovers and themselves giving it away. They'll give it away. Like last week, they were -3 in the turnover differential, and they still won the game. Again, you can get away with that when you're playing Jacksonville. Much harder to get away with that when you're playing good teams. So I worry about some of the mistakes and turnovers. I worry about their defense not generating enough turnovers. And I worry about the inexperience in that secondary. So I think there are some issues with the Chiefs defensively. Offensively, I think they're very dynamic. And they can hurt you in a multitude of ways, but it's still Travis Kelce when it's all said and done. I think we've seen that time and time again. How many touchdowns does he have this season? Like 12, 11, 12? Got to be up there in that neighborhood somewhere on the season. As a matter of fact, I'm anxious now, curious. He came into the game with 8, so he had 3 tonight, so he's got 11 touchdowns on the season. 4 in the game against the Raiders on the Monday night earlier this season, 3 in this game. He's been huge this season, as he always is. But they can hurt you in so many different ways offensively. Honestly, if you're going to beat the Chiefs, you have to get to Mahomes. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. You got to get to Mahomes, and you got to force somebody other than Travis Kelce to beat you. I know it's easier said than done, but to me, it's even easier now that there's no Tyreek Hill. Before, it used to be pick your poison. Either you're going to die a quick and painless death with Hill, or you're going to die a slow death with Travis Kelce. You pick. You're dying either way, okay? You pick which death you want. Quick and painless, I take you out back, pop, pop, 2 in your dome, and it's over. You never feel a thing. That's Tyreek Hill. Or I can take you inside the barn, tie you to the chair, waterboard you, hook you up to a couple of electronics, shock you a few times, take the ice pick, stick it in your knee, saw off your fingertips. Like, I can really do some damage to you. That's Travis Kelce. Now there's no Tyreek Hill. So if you want to go to Sky Moore, if you want to go to Valdez Scantling, if you want to go to Justin Watson, go ahead. Please be my guest. If they're going to beat me, if Jody Fortson is going to beat me, knock yourself out. It won't be Travis Kelce. I know it's easier said than done, but you can't tell me there's a way that you can't take him out the game. You can't tell me there's no way to get him out of the game in those types of situations where you just say, nah, I'm not, it's not going to be Travis Kelce. It's just not going to be Travis Kelce. Sorry. I'm not sorry. It won't be Travis Kelce. But somehow, some way, they find a way to get it to Kelce no matter what, which still boggles the mind. They're amazing on offense. Mahomes is amazing. I never doubted that they would, at a bare minimum, tie the game up. And they couldn't tie it up because they were down 4. So there was never a doubt in my mind they were going to score the touchdown. I take that back because I think earlier I said they're either going to tie the game up or send it to overtime. The Chargers had a chance to tie the game up with a field goal or take the lead with the touchdown, and they scored the touchdown. The Chiefs had to score a touchdown because they were down 4, 27-23. There was never a doubt in my mind they were going to go down the field and score the touchdown. No doubt in my mind. The question wasn't if they were going to score. It was just with how much time left, were they going to do it? The only way they weren't going to score is if something crazy happened, like Jerick McKinnon when he fumbled, or Mahomes throws a pass and somehow it gets batted in the air and it gets picked off. Something like that would have had to occur. Mahomes wasn't just going to throw it to them. Okay? He wasn't just going to throw it to them. Something crazy had to happen. That didn't. And Travis Kelce did happen. And so they win this game 30-27. I want to see the Chiefs' schedule real quick to see who they've got coming up. So they've got the Rams next week. That's a win. The Bengals after that, that should be interesting. In the jungle in Cincinnati. That'll be a fascinating game there. That's a measuring stick game for the Bengals. They want to know where they are. That's going to be the measuring stick game for them. And they've had success against Kansas City, clearly. That's another team that can beat the Chiefs if they meet in the postseason. They've done it before. They did it in the regular season. I think each of the last 2 seasons, they beat Kansas City in the regular season, and they also beat them, obviously, in the most important game, which was the AFC Championship last year. So that'll be an interesting game. They got Denver. They got the Texans. They got the Seahawks, the Broncos, the Raiders. They may not lose another game if they beat both the Rams and the Bengals. They could finish the season up 14-2. And obviously, if you get to the point where you're 12-2, you may not need the final 2 games. You could then make a decision how I want to play it out because you would have already locked up the division. And I don't know if there'll be another team in the conference within striking distance if we get to week 17 and the Chiefs are 14-2 or 13-2. We get to week 17, they're 13-2. I don't know if there's another team in the conference within shouting distance of them. I don't think the Dolphins will be there. I don't think the Bills will be there. Maybe the Titans because of the division that they play in, but they've got games like against the Eagles and things of that nature. I think they also play Dallas through the Titans. They've got some games that they could easily lose and probably will lose at least one of those games. So I don't think anybody's going to be within shouting distance. If they can find a way to beat the Bengals, I think that's the only remaining game on the schedule that I look at. Obviously, there's family business littered all up through this thing. Broncos and the Broncos twice, as a matter of fact, and then the Raiders. But who gives a shit about the Broncos? The thing I can say about the Broncos is they play defense. And anytime you play defense, it gives you a fighting chance. But nobody thinks that they're going to – look, I need them to flex that game too. That's a Sunday night game. Broncos, Chiefs, week 11, let's see, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, week 14. Damn, we on a bye week in week 14. I was about to say, hey, Giants, Washington, go ahead and flex us in there. We'll take it. You know, I'm already trying to find a way to get us one of those Giant games in the Sunday night. Not going to happen. Broncos and Chiefs are getting flexed, though. I don't know who they're going to put in there in week 14. We're off, so that sucks. But they got to take that shit out of there, and they will. We're done with the Broncos for this season. Nobody wants any more. And I'm pretty sure the NFL is like, nah, we can't do that. We can't put the Broncos on TV again. Even if it means we got to take Mahomes out of prime time, we can't put the Broncos on TV again. So, I mean, shit, they just did it with Burrow, right? Like, they didn't want to take Burrow and the Bengals out of prime time, but the Steelers, and it actually turned out to be a really good game, but the Steelers, they're not good enough to put them on prime time. So they snatched those boys out, and they gave us this dandy of a game. And I think we're all better because of it. So Chiefs look like they could easily turn this thing into they're going to slip up along the way one more time. I see them being no worse than 14-3 this season. They're the number one seed in the AFC, if you ask me. Meanwhile, the Chargers, I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs, man. It's interesting with this Chargers team because you got this stud quarterback in Justin Herbert. They've got all these injuries that continue to affect this team. Defensively, there's been no Boza for most of the season. More defensive guys get hurt tonight. Nasir Adderley didn't finish the game. Kenneth Murray didn't finish the game tonight. The defensive line, we've chronicled that. They played on Sunday night last week. We talked about all the defensive line injuries. That's a known fact, okay? The struggles that they've had, all the practice squad guys they've had to bring up. Guys, like late in the ball game, Sebastian Joseph Day taps out, and some guy that they literally just brought up from the practice squad that has never played in an NFL game before is getting snaps in the most crucial juncture of the game. Like, are you kidding me? But that's where they are on the defensive line. Then the offense. We know about the offensive line, even though Salyer has come in and been a revelation for them at left tackle. I think it makes them all that much better that when they get their all-world left tackle back, maybe Salyer can then kick to the right side and be their right tackle moving forward, and they may have bookend tackles moving forward. Zion Johnson is solid, but he's had his moments where he struggled tonight. He got beat. And so he's a rookie. That happens. He'll continue to grow, and you hope that, you know, with growth comes less mistakes, less mental lapses, knowing who you're playing against, what their tendencies are. You get better and better, and you start to become a technician. You hope that that's the case for Zion Johnson down the road. But they've got injuries on the offensive line, clearly, right? Then you've got the issue at receiver that they've had. How about Josh Palmer, man? How about Josh Palmer? I think it was 2 games ago against Atlanta. That was a game where I was like, I picked Atlanta. I'm like, there's no way that the Chargers are going to win this game. They got nobody for Herbert to throw the football to. And then Josh Palmer goes off for like 100 yards. He was huge tonight, was Josh Palmer. 2 touchdown grabs. He had to have over 100 yards. 8 catches, 106 yards, and 2 touchdowns, had the 50-yarder to start the game off, had the go-ahead score when they took the lead 27-23, made a ton of big catches in this game. He's grown. You know, injuries suck. They really do. But you know what injuries do? They give other guys opportunities to prove that they belong, that they're capable. Okay, Josh Palmer's nobody's number one. Hell, he's probably not even your number two. But he's a damn good third option. And with both Williams and Allen being out, he was thrusted into that number one role. Like, hey, we need you to step up and be our main target at receiver. And he responded. And it's to the point where now that those guys are trying to come back, and obviously Williams' attempt to come back failed epically, but Allen looks like he may be back, which is huge for this offense. Again, Allen is more important to the success of the offense than that of Mike Williams. Williams is a one-trick pony. It's a damn good trick. It's a hell of a trick. But Allen is so versatile. He does so much for this offense. He moves the sticks. You saw 3rd and 18. He can get down the field vertically, make a big catch. He does so much for this offense, this Keenan Allen. And they can survive without Mike Williams. Where Williams' ability hurts not having him is when you get into the red zone and you just want to throw a back shoulder fade with a guy because he makes contested catches look easy and normal. So when you get into those situations, you're just like, hey, Justin, back shoulder to Mike. Doesn't matter that the defender's draped all over him. Just give him an opportunity. Mike will catch it. You lose that ability in the red zone. Or you get one-on-one 45, 50 yards down the field, and you're like, Justin, just let it rip. It's Mike by himself one-on-one with a defender. He'll go down. He'll go up and get it. You lose that ability. It's almost like cheating, right? Let's just throw the shit up to Mike. He'll go get it. It's one-on-one. He's got it. But in not having those guys available, Josh Palmer stepped up. And now that those guys are trying to come back, he's ready for a bigger role. He's not afraid of the moment anymore. He's grown so much because of that exposure. It's fun to see the young fellas grow up like that. It was fun to watch Sky Moore make plays and gain confidence tonight. I love the way Isaiah Pacheco plays. There's like different levels of how guys play the game, and there's no right or wrong way. But he's a guy that he doesn't have an off switch. He gets a 2-yard gain, and he's getting up, and he's running the ball to the official or, and then running back to the huddle, and they're like, bro, we're not even going tempo right now. Calm down. Like, turn that shit down a bit. He can't. He doesn't have another gear. It's in 5. It's stuck in gear 5 all the time. All the time. He'd be one of those dudes that you'd get mad at practice when you weren't trying to go all that hard. And he's out here showing everybody up. And the coach is like, y'all need to practice like Isaiah. You like, man, F Isaiah, man. His ass be goddamn. He don't have no chill. We out here trying to just go through the motions at practice today. It's supposed to be an easy practice. And Isaiah out here going 1,000,000 miles per second. He's the guy that pisses a lot of the veterans off. They're trying to chill, just get through practice, and he's out here going 110 miles an hour. As hard as he can possibly go. He didn't have a filter. He didn't have another gear. It's stuck in 5. Love watching him play. He's so much fun to watch. You hate to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire go down. And Isaiah was already taking his reps anyway. And they really love, and so do I, Jerick McKinnon. So, they were trying to force Clyde Edwards-Helaire in there. And you could tell he was running tough, and he was trying to, show that he needs more touches. And, yeah, y'all got to figure out a way to get me on the field too. And then he gets hurt. That sucks. But it's so frustrating watching the Chargers because they seem to be incapable of getting out of their own way. Some of it their own doing, some of it not. Obviously, the injuries, you can't control that. Every year, it's the same shit with them. Every year. But you get past the injuries and you get into a position. Last week, they're up 16-10. They don't score a single point in the second half. This game, they're up 20-13 at halftime. They don't score a single point until the final possession they had the football. Like, you can't keep doing that and expect to win games. You can't keep doing that. Turnovers, missed opportunities, whatever the case may be, they just find ways to shoot themselves in the foot. But you can't turn away from them. They're a great watch. As frustrating as they have to be for Chargers fans to watch. I'm not a Chargers fan, so I'm watching from afar. I enjoy watching them, but I always know that at the end, unless they're playing somebody trash, at the end, they're going to find a way to lose the game. That's always how I feel about them. You're not going to win, but this is fun anyway. Yeah, they'll beat the Broncos and they'll beat the Raiders in those type. And they didn't even beat them last year in that situation, but they won't beat the Chiefs. They're not going to beat the 49ers. They're not going to beat good teams in those situations. They'll play them tough. It'll be a great game, but at the end, they'll find a way to lose. It's unfortunate because Herbert did what he needed to do. Their head coach, Brandon Staley, is a defensive-minded guy. And you take the lead. You're up 4. All right, this is when I need you to devise a plan to stop 87 from defeating me. I've heard the term genius applied to Brandon Staley far too often for his teams to fail to be able to stop specific players from getting off. Travis Kelce being public enemy number 1. Don't keep telling me that this guy is a savant, a football junkie, and a genius, a beautiful mind. I've heard all of these different terms to describe Brandon Staley, a beautiful football mind. All right, put it to the test, okay? Stop Travis Kelce. Stop Travis Kelce. You got all of these defensive pieces. You've drafted all of these guys. All of this stuff all of these resources you poured into this defense. Stop Travis Kelce. One possession you need to stop. Get it. Yeah, that's rough. Another one in the books. Chargers fall 30-27. Where do they sit? I'm anxious. Where do they sit in the playoff chase in the AFC? Let's go ahead and expand this thing to the conference. And right now, the Chiefs are the number 1 seed. The Dolphins are the 2 seed. The Titans are the 3 seed. The Ravens are the 4 seed. The Bills are the 5th seed currently. Obviously, the Dolphins have beaten them earlier in the season. That's why those two are flip-flop. But they do meet again later in the season in Buffalo, and they'll have an opportunity. But right now, the Bills, they're tripping because they're 0-2 in the division. So they got to get busy. They get New England 2 weeks from now on Thursday Night Football. That's when it starts for them, trying to turn it around inside the division. Speaking of the Patriots, they're the 6th seed right now. The Bengals are now the 7th seed with the Jets on the outside looking in after that debilitating and crushing loss they had today. And then you find the Chargers sitting in the 9 hole at 5-5. So they're not out of this by any stretch of the imagination. They'll get reinforcements if they can just hold on later on in the season. Let's see, of all the playoff teams that are in the wild card, I don't recall them playing Miami, Buffalo, New England, Cincinnati, or the Jets. Let's check their schedule and see if they played any of those teams already. I don't recall them playing any of those teams this season. And I'm right, they haven't played any of those teams. Let's see if any of those teams exist on the schedule moving forward. The Dolphins do, the Titans do. So they'll have some big games later on in the season where if they're serious about trying to make a push for the playoffs, they're going to have to defeat some teams that are in front of them. The Titans are going to win their division, so that one won't really make a huge difference, but it is a game in the conference that will go a long way in helping determine where they are when it's all said and done. But the Dolphins is a big one because I still don't think the Dolphins are going to win their division. They're going to end up being a wild card. That might be an opportunity for a tiebreaker there, but they got the Cardinals next week, the Raiders the week after that, then the Dolphins after that, then the Titans. And with the Chargers, it doesn't matter home or away. They don't have an advantage. So you just talk about who they're playing. You don't talk about where the game is being played. So Cardinals, then the Raiders, then the Dolphins, then the Titans, then the Colts, the Rams, and then the Broncos. So here's the thing. Cardinals, enigma, right? Don't really know what you're getting with them. Raiders, that's a winnable game. You should win that game. Dolphins, I don't know about that. That's going to be a toughie. Titans, don't know about that. That's going to be a toughie. Colts, very winnable football game there. Rams, very winnable football game there. Broncos, very winnable football game there. So if you just go off of very winnable football game there, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 games that you think, and you look at it and you say, okay, let's just say they win those games. That gets you to 9 wins. You're going to need 10 probably in each conference, not just one of each conference. I think it's going to take at a bare minimum 10. And I just told you in the AFC that right now the 7 seed is at 6 wins. All right. The 6 seed, 7 seed are at 6, and the 5 seed is at 7. So that's going to be tough. Okay. That's going to be tough because right now, 10 might not even be good enough. With the way these teams are playing, you might need 11. But we'll see. We'll see what Cincinnati does. We'll see what New England. I don't trust the Patriots. They're the one. If you tell me, hey, one of these teams doesn't belong, it's the Patriots. They scored 10 points today, 7 of which came on special teams. They suck on offense, do the Patriots. We saw that against Chicago when they got run out of their own building. I don't trust them. They've played a really, really soft schedule that has allowed them to survive. Anytime they've seen a competent opponent, they've gotten their brains bashed in, have the Patriots. I don't really trust them all that much. So if anybody could have their spot taken, it'd be the Patriots. But who's going to come take it? That's the question. I don't trust the Jets. And I don't trust these Chargers. As much as I like them and I think they belong in the postseason, I don't trust them either. But enough of that. I talked for a long time tonight. Let's get to the comment section. If you're out there, you want your comment read, you guys know how this goes. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. And use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read on the air. If it's pertinent, we'll read it. And if you want to jump to the front of the line and ensure that your comment is read, use the super chat function. I got one super chat here, and it's from Dejan Bell. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Dejan writes, Lou, I'm late. What's going on with Benjamin St. Juice? Excuse me. I don't know. I heard that it was an ankle injury. I've also heard it's not major, it's minor, but it's too hard to tell that right after the game. If it's bad. You don't know how bad, but we thought Gibby had an injury, and then we found out relatively quickly, oh, it's not serious. All right, it's a very minor injury. He's fine, and he was fine. He was the better of the 2 backs today. So we're hoping that that's the same case with Benjamin St. Juice. Oh, he tweaked something. He's fine. Don't worry about it. But we'll see. All right, I expect him to be on the injury report this week. I expect him to be limited this week. We'll see if he plays or not. We'll see if he plays. All right. Juan Gotti talking sports writes, will Terry be the best Washington wide receiver in franchise history when it's all said and done? No, I don't think he will overtake one Arthur Monk when it's all said and done. I think he'll be really good. I think he'll be the second best receiver. I think he'll overtake, Ricky Sanders and even Gary Clark. I think he'll be better than Gary Clark when it's all said and done. But I don't think he'll be better than Art Monk. So that's kind of where I see it going. But who knows? If he plays long enough, it's a different NFL than when Art Monk played. Art Monk put up ridiculous numbers. Remember, he's a Hall of Fame player. Will Terry end up being a Hall of Fame player? Right now, the answer is no. But there's plenty of football left in his career. What are we in? Year 4 of Terry McLaurin? 19, 20, 21, 22. So plenty of football left for Terry. His trajectory says that he's got a shot at it. But what's going to make it difficult for him is if he doesn't get consistent quarterback play. We can laud and praise him all we want for him putting up numbers with less than stellar quarterbacks. And you can make the argument that what he's done is even more impressive because of that fact. But there are going to be contemporaries that he's playing around that are going to put up monster numbers because they've got Joe Burrow or they've got this guy at quarterback or that guy at quarterback, because he's got Josh Allen at quarterback. And it's going to drown out a guy like Terry McLaurin. So we'll see. Juan Gotti Sports, thank you, who writes, who are we rooting for Thursday, Lou? Cowboys or Giants? Or it really don't matter to you? Also, very close eye on Monday Night Football tomorrow. We can move into the 7th seed. Let's go Cards. I'm more concerned with that game than I am the Thursday game. The Thursday game, I just want those two teams to beat the hell out of each other. Honestly, the Giants are so banged up. And honestly, too, I just think the Giants are coming back down to earth. Their story was cute. It was nice. They're a really solid football team, well coached. But at the end of the day, they were lacking talent to begin with. And now they're having injuries that they can't afford to have. I just think they're starting to come back to earth. I expect the Cowboys to run them on Thanksgiving Day, complete the season sweep of the Giants. Then I'm like, hey, let me at them after that. But they'll have this long layoff and time to lick their wounds. But didn't matter for the Eagles, who had, a long layoff after playing on Thursday and then got to play on Monday. So an additional day, we still were able to mop the floor with them. So that doesn't matter to me. But I think we're more likely to catch the Giants than we are the Cowboys. So I'm probably inclined to say I don't really care. I don't think you can lose in this situation. Both teams are 7-3. Someone's going to get their 4th loss. So whomever does, I'm saying, all right, I want your spot. So it really doesn't matter to me who wins that game. I just want them to beat the hell out of each other. That said, I've got more of a watchful eye on tomorrow's game because if the Cardinals take care of the 49ers, like you said, now we have an opportunity to jump over them, leapfrog them by a half game because we haven't had our bye week yet and get to that 7th seed again. It really doesn't matter right now whether you're in or you're out. The playoffs don't start in week number, 12. So it doesn't really matter whether you're on the outside looking in at 8 because we play the 49ers. As I mentioned, we play the Falcons this upcoming week. All the teams that we need that are right around us. I think the Falcons are directly behind us at number 9, and the 49ers are directly in front of us at number 7. And the Giants, I think, if we look at the landscape of the NFC, because the Cowboys beat them, I would assume the Giants are the 6th seed right now. Now that Dallas is overtaking them because they're tied. We play the Giants twice. So everything we want is right in front of us. No excuses. All right. I'm done with Ree on those. Ree says, I bet Patrick Mahomes' barber is a superhero who has to leave and save the world every time he gets halfway done with Mahomes' hair. Kevin the PRF. All right. Could it be that Justin Fields turns out to be the best quarterback of that 2021 draft class? It could happen. We see it all the time. We make so much of this guy and that guy, and it's usually, I won't say always, it's usually the guy you're not expecting. That 2018 draft class. Oh, people loved Baker Mayfield. His tape was clean. I've been on record of saying that Baker Mayfield's tape was clean, but I didn't think he was better than Josh Allen. Everyone loved Sam Darnold. I couldn't stand Sam Darnold. I was on record of saying Sam Darnold is not my cup of tea. Too many turnovers. I don't see it. Got to the league, too many turnovers. Never really developed into what a lot of people thought he would. But those are the guys that went first off the board, right? Then Josh Allen goes, and the Bills trade up for him at like number 7, take him. Then it's Josh Rosen. I thought Josh Rosen was going to be a lot better than what he ended up being. I was flat out wrong about Josh Rosen. Thought Rosen would be a lot better as a pocket passer. You put him in the right system. Like if he would have ended up in a place like New England, I think Josh Rosen would have had an opportunity, but he never got that opportunity. And then there's Lamar Jackson, and he was an afterthought. Last pick of that draft's first round in 2018. And it's between Allen and Jackson for who's the best quarterback in that draft class. And you would have never guessed. So it could easily turn into Justin Fields being the best. Now, he's on a ridiculous stretch right now, but so much of it is with his legs. He's made some throws, and he's getting better in that regard, and he's gaining confidence in that regard. But I need to see it more, all right? And some of these games have to turn into wins. Like you can't keep convincing me, oh, my God, did you see Fields? Yeah, but they lost. Oh, man, but did you see Fields today? Yeah, but he threw a pick at the end of the game today against the Falcons that clinched it for the Falcons. Like at some point, I need them to start turning into wins. You can put up all these gaudy numbers you want and have everybody lauding and praising you, but you got to start winning some ball games. But the jump that he's made, pretty damn impressive. And to your point, Zach Wilson stinks right now. Trey Lance hasn't been healthy this season, so we still don't really know. He's the wild card of the bunch right now. Don't really know what he's going to be for the 49ers. Mac Jones is, come back to earth because last year everybody was slobbing on his knob. Now everybody realizes, I said he doesn't have any superpowers. He's like Batman, but just stripped down, right? Like take away all of the gadgets, and all the money and all the fancy gadgets and tools that he has. He's just Bruce Wayne. He doesn't have any real superpowers. Meanwhile, you look at all the other quarterbacks in that draft class, and they had superpowers, but Trevor Lawrence, I still think he's going to be the best quarterback of that draft class. I believe in Trevor Lawrence. But, he's making some mistakes, but it's the first year. He's been in this league 2 years, and he's had a different coordinator both years and, different head coach. And we know what the debacle was last year. So I'm going to show him some grace and mercy because of the situation that he endured in Jacksonville. I think he's got the right coach, right staff around him. They're building around him. They're going to get him some more talent. I think he's going to be fine. I like Trevor Lawrence, but Justin Fields could be the best quarterback of that group. You're right. He could end up being the best quarterback of that group when it's all said and done. Spence Calise, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, D looking better and better. Pups growing up. That's what it's about. That's what it's about, is continuing to grow, bringing the young players along. If you're going to go young, which we have made the conscious decision to go young, Rivera has made it a point of emphasis to keep the roster young and vibrant, then these guys have to learn on the fly. You have to integrate the young fellas without taking away from the entire sum of the group. And they've done that seamlessly this year with, guys like Derek Forrest. Obviously, he's not a rookie. He's a second-year player, but, he still had to get in there and make plays, and he's done that. And you just see Jamin Davis's growth and development. Casey Toohill, James Smith-Williams, hell, John Ridgeway, even though he's power bombing and jackknifing guys, still, what he's done for us has been huge inside, especially after the loss of for Darian Mathis after 1 week of football. So we've had a lot of contributions from a lot of guys. Jahan Dotson continues to be a really solid, piece. And again, he's still just working his way back, but they got to find ways to get him more involved because he's a playmaker. So love it that the pups are growing up. Defense is coming along nicely. And so we're going to have a shot. That's all you can ask for. So Kate, look, I need you to answer this now. Somebody brought this up. I think it was Metaphor that brought this up. Is it chaotic or is it K80 tick? I'm pretty sure it's chaotic, but I need you to tell me, okay? You've done a great job of just ignoring the whole topic. Maybe you don't care, but I care because I like to get people's names right. So is it chaotic or K80 tick? Let me know, all right? Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, going to the game versus Falcons first since 2018. Well, you know what to do. I don't have to tell you what it is. Make it happen. I got to ask my sister, does she want to go to the game? My sister is a Falcons fan. My biggest thing is I like to put Commanders fans' asses in seats. I may not be doing that. I may be giving tickets to the enemy, but blood's thicker than water. And so if my sis wants to go to the game, I will definitely bless her with the tickets. So I got to see if she wants to go. I'll be hitting her up tomorrow to see what she wants to do. But it was funny. We were having a conversation. This has nothing to do with nothing, but I just find it funny. And I told myself I would share it with you guys if it ever came up in my mind while I was doing a stream. Well, it came in my mind, so I'm going to tell you right now. So we were watching games together last week, and she's been to like 3 games. She's been to a Falcons game when they played us back in like 2018. I think it was that year where the defense was a house of cards. And Julio Jones came in, they kicked our ass, they scored like 30 some odd points, and they beat us up pretty good. So she went to that game. She went to a Cowboys-Washington game. And then she's been to a Ravens game. That wasn't against Washington. It was just in Baltimore. So she went to the game against the Falcons game with against Washington. And she said the fans were so nice. They talked to me, we were talking trash to them and they were so nice. And then she said we went back and they played against Dallas. And she said they were like animals. She's like, I seen a totally different side of them. It's like they lost their mind when it came to Dallas. She's like, we were walking back to our car and, people were driving down the street. Fuck Dallas. And, they were heckling people down the street that had on cowboy. My dad's a smart man. So he had on a Dallas jersey, but when they lost, he was talking shit at the game. But once he saw a couple of people getting work, walking back out of the stadium, he put a jacket on and covered his shit up. I said, you a smart dude. He's like, yeah, mama ain't raised no fool. So he covered his shit up, but they were heckling folks. They were driving in the car and they would stop and pull over and give them work. And she was like, I seen a different side of them. They lost their mind when they came to Dallas. And that was the game in 2018. That was the same season, 2018, when we beat them with the ball hitting the upright on the field goal when they had the illegal procedure on the previous play. It moved them back 5 yards, and then he hit the goalpost, and we won. That was the Kerrigan fumble recovery on the Preston Smith forced fumble, or was it the other way around? Kerrigan forced the fumble, and Preston Smith recovered it. I think that's the way it went. Either way, I got a kick out of that. That was hilarious. So I don't even know why I went to that, but you know what you do. Bring the dub home. Get it done. We need it. We need this one bad. Jamal Hamlin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Jamal writes, Lou, I don't know what Ridgeway was thinking. He does play with some grit, though. I love me some Ridgeway. I don't think he was thinking. That's the whole point. I don't think he was thinking. I think he just, dude's between my legs. I watched wrestling my entire life. I'm about to powerbomb him. Like, I don't have any other rationale for you. Like, we all have done it. All of us that grew up watching wrestling at one point were wrestling with someone thinking that we were one of these WWF stars. It was WWF back in the day. And so we've all done that. You know, I remember this kid, Adam. We were at the bus stop, grew up with this kid, right? And we're at the bus stop. This is what happens when the bus doesn't come when it's supposed to come. You start doing stupid shit that you shouldn't be doing because you should be on the bus on your way to school. But instead, bus is 15 minutes late. You start doing some shit you shouldn't be doing. Next thing you know, you're power bombing a kid, and you feel bad about it. So I wasn't planning on power bombing him, right? I just picked him up over my head, and I was going to put him back down. But then, you know, this is the shit that happens that you don't plan for. I pick him up now, you know, because it ain't like you just picking him up regular. You're picking someone up and flipping them over, you know. Limbs are flying everywhere. His foot, I mean, violently flips around, boom, in the back of my head, and I just naturally let him go. Boom, power bomb. I felt so bad. We've all done it. Stupid shit. Thinking that we're wrestlers. You know, they practice this shit. They tell you don't try this at home. I've got stories that I can tell you about shit that have gone wrong where people almost ended up paralyzed. All right, behind trying to be wrestlers. I think he lost his mind for a second. He wasn't thinking. He's like, hey, I got a chance to pick this dude up. And he didn't think about the repercussions of this, what he's about to do. Like, don't slam him. What are you doing? That's a 15-yard penalty, dude. He could have gotten ejected for that. I don't even know if their running back, Damian Pierce, played after that. It's crazy. And I say all of that and I say this. Man, I love me some John Ridgeway as well. Oh, man. Jamal Hamlin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Who writes? Logan Thomas said, Cole Turner, who? I'm the effing receiving tight end now. He's always viewed himself as such. You know, always. I'm glad to see that he's starting to work his way back into that role because he's huge for us. Chaotic. I once Metaphor said that I think it's chaotic, Lou. I was like, damn, you're right. It does look like chaotic. He says, first of all, double up, thank you for doubling up, Chaotic, who writes, it's chaotic, old gamer tag from Xbox days. Thank you for the clarification. And you know what? You're such a good sport because you was just going to let it rock. He was like, bro, I've been calling you K80 Tick for the longest, and you've never once said, oh, by the way, it's chaotic. You've never said, you're just like, it's whatever. I don't care. I appreciate you. But if I'm getting it wrong, correct me. I'm not going to feel any way about it. I get names wrong all the time and people tell me how to say it. So I know it's chaotic now, so you don't have to worry about that. But thank you for the clarification there. I appreciate that. All right. Let's see. Got a little bit more time. Let's run through and get some more comments. Reese says, bye weeks are weird. It's just not the same on Sundays when I'm not screaming at my TV. Bye weeks are different for every fan. Like you just said, it's weird. I enjoy bye weeks. The pressure of watching your team and hoping that they succeed is not there. You get to watch the entire league. For someone like myself, who's a massive NFL fan, who loves watching all the games, I enjoy just kicking back. And the only thing better than a bye week is your team already having won on a Thursday, and now you're watching all the rest of the games. Because even if you play like last week, for instance, we played on Monday, you're enjoying the games on Sunday, but in the back of your mind, you're like, shit, we got to play tomorrow. I hope we win. Like there's this gnawing feeling at you that you're like, man, this is cool, but I hope we win tomorrow. So you can't really fully enjoy the games that you're watching because in the back of your mind, you're thinking about your game tomorrow. excuse me, same thing with Sunday Night Football. You're enjoying the games during the day, but you're still thinking about, damn, we play tonight. I hope we win. Thursday is the best because you've taken care of business already. If you win, of course. If you lose, then it sucks. But if you win, you've taken care of business already. Now you're just chilling, watching the games, knowing I already got my shit in the bag. I'm straight. Bye weeks are cool. I love them. But for some, like you said, it's a little different. Metaphor, right? Entertaining game. Definitely not a place our team's at right now. Offense wouldn't keep us in a game like this. So Super Bowl aspirations, see, that's where you're wrong because that's, first of all, that's family business. Second of all, that's the AFC. You wouldn't run into that. They're in a team in the NFC that looks like this. Either one of these teams for that matter, right? There isn't a Justin Herbert in our conference. Not a single one, okay? There isn't a Chiefs team nor a Patrick Mahomes in the entire NFC conference, right? So understand that you won't run into this until you get to the other side of the bracket potentially. So you can fight your way out of the NFC. Now, will you actually win? Look, as a Washington fan, I want to win the Super Bowl. Trust me. But just getting to an NFC championship game, hell, we haven't won a playoff game since 2005. Just winning a game and advancing to the next round, huge. We can do that this year. Got to get there first, obviously, but we can do that this year. Got a super chat. This one is from Chaotic. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Chaotic writes, Cousins and Jefferson's on my milk carton when I went to Walmart. Jeez. I haven't watched that game yet, but I can only imagine how bad it was when you see 40-3. Like, clearly I haven't heard from any of my Vikings fans. Black Al B isn't in the comment section tonight. My guy, oh, shucks. Why am I blanking on his name? Jeez. Now I got to go through the alphabet. C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. Kyle. My guy Kyle. Haven't seen him tonight. I don't expect to see them. That was embarrassing. Okay. That has to wear off a bit. Maybe they'll show up for the podcast. I don't think I'll see them until next week. They got to overcome this ass whooping. Let it, kind of simmer down. Nick at Night, won't see him tonight. Probably won't see him tomorrow. That one stinks. It's one thing to lose. And then it's another one to get a mud hole stomped in you at your own crib. Again, nothing worse than getting your ass beat at home. I can't imagine anything worse than knock at the door. You open the door and somebody punches you in the face immediately and walks in your house and just starts doing whatever the hell they want to do. And you just sitting there with a bloody nose trying to figure out what the hell is going on. That's essentially what happened to the Vikings. Knock at the door. They open up the door. Hey, how you pop? Chipped a tooth, nose bloody. They're trying to figure out what the hell. They're trying to get their faculties together. And the Cowboys just walk in and, just go in their house and ransacks the joint. Does whatever the hell they want to do. Proceeds to go in and absolutely take over the joint. That's as bad as it gets. Yikes. All right. Got a few more minutes. See where we left off at. Niners fan says, Lou, we do not own the Cardinals. I think I made that statement when I made my pick on Friday that you own the Cardinals. I think I might have skipped over last year. I just remember the year where you guys were out of the playoffs. They needed a win on a Saturday. You go in there with CJ Beathard at quarterback, and you beat them. And I'm like, what the hell is that about? Last year, though, I do remember them having Colt McCoy at quarterback, going to San Francisco and running the football down your throat with James Conner. I do remember that very vividly now that you bring it up. But last year was last year. You guys weren't right for the first half of the season. I think you played both of your games against Arizona within the first 10 games. You weren't right until you got hot towards the end of the season. So you were hovering around 500 the entire season, and then you got hot late and into the playoffs. So last year, I kind of just dismissed that. The Cardinals are a mess this year. Even though Colt McCoy looked good last week, I think you're going to take care of business. He says, they swept us last year and have always played us tough the last 3 years. Tomorrow will be a dogfight, but I think we will find a way to win. I think you will too. I didn't realize the game was in Mexico City, though. Not that that changes anything. The Cardinals are a terrible home team. I don't even know the last time they won a home game. But doesn't change my mind or anything. But I didn't know the game was in Mexico City. I just realized that like 3 days ago. Or maybe 2 days ago, because I had already made the pick by the time I realized that the game was in Mexico City. Got another super chat. And it is from Jamal Hamlin. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Jamal writes, Lou, Bostic is so frustrating to watch. Tell me about it. He's always in the right position, but just don't have the ability to do anything about it. He's always where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. His problem is he's too tentative. That's his problem. He's like the guy that doesn't want to make a mistake, so he just doesn't do anything. Like, most coaches would tell you, if you're going to make a mistake, just make it going 110 miles an hour. We'll deal with the consequences later, but I would prefer you to just go balls to the wall. We can correct that. What I don't want is a guy that just hesitates. He who hesitates is last. That's what a wise man once told me. Well, this guy's always hesitating, which is why he always comes in last. Why he never makes a play, and why we're always frustrated after something happens, because like the 4th and 4 today, he's just standing there watching Davis Mills run. Instead of him coming up and trying to stop him from getting the first down, he doesn't do anything to him until after he passes the first down stick. Now, all of a sudden, he wants to be all gung-ho. Oh, I'm going to get you down now. Well, it's too late. He's already got 5 yards when you could have done something about it when he was first starting to break the pocket. You're watching him do it. You're not covering anybody. You never cover anybody in zone coverage. You literally cover patches of grass. You don't cover anybody. You don't match anybody. You never do anything in zone coverage. So why are you just standing there? Go and get him. You weren't doing shit anyway. Clapping Big Texas Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, Bostic plays like his feet's in quicksand. You get those vibes from him sometimes. It's like he's wearing ankle weights. That's what it looks like when I watch him play. Like he's wearing ankle weights. Chaotic. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Chaotic writes, Giants look like Giants today. Barkley, 22 yards. They look like the little Giants today. That's who they look like. Giants, help us, God. They looked horrible. Daniel Jones turned back the clock and looked like Daniel Jones. Threw a couple of bad interceptions. Saquon Barkley, they made a concerted effort to shut him down. Like, to me, when you're playing a team that is very reliant on the run game and their running back, just like we played a team today in the Texans, you have to take that running back away and make that quarterback beat you. And if he does, you tip your cap and say, hey, man, good job. Daniel Jones wasn't able to do it against the Lions today, and Davis Mills wasn't able to do it against Washington today. And to me, when you play teams that are that's why I said the Titans, they are one of the best coached teams, because you know what you're getting when you play the Titans, and yet they find a way to circumvent teams loading the box up or teams gearing to stop Derrick Henry. They find a way to still get enough points to win. So I thought that was a hell of a job by the Lions of shutting down Saquon Barkley and making Daniel Jones beat you. And beat them, I should say, rather. Clapping Big Texas Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Who writes, JD plays like he's running through the vineyard. Does that include tripping? Do you trip when you run through the vineyard? Because JD plays like he is running through, those little trip wires, the long, those chicken wires that he runs like those are always present around his feet. All right, I think I got time for a few more comments. Let's see. We left off here. Reese says, Justin Herbert ain't shit, Lou. Man doesn't win. People can talk about his arm all they want. He has weapons around him, decent run game, good defense, no excuses. That's a terrible take, Ree. The man literally took his team, drove them the length of the field, and threw a touchdown pass to give them a lead. What more do you want him to do? You want him to get on the field, strap it up, and go play corner or safety for them too? I mean, obviously you don't watch the Chargers a ton, so I don't know if you're aware of the amount of injuries. I don't know if you're aware that he's been without his top two targets the last, 2 games in particular, but he hasn't had Keenan Allen, which is the guy that really drives their entire offense in terms of the passing game. He's been without him the entire year, essentially. They're speedster receiver. They don't have any speed at receiver for the most part. DeAndre Carter is probably the one bit of speed that they do have left. But the one guy that was supposed to take the top off the defense, and Jalen Guyton, he gets hurt in like week 1. He tore his ACL. So he's been playing with less than a full deck all season long. And the fact that they're 5-5. Oh, and by the way, he's also been playing the vast majority of the season since week 2 with, fractured ribs to boot. So that's, to me, that's a garbage take. But to each its own. HCTR Carson writes, unreal. Do you think Kelsey is more valuable to Mahomes than Tyreek was? I think so. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the same thing with, I just talked about with the Chargers and Keenan Allen. Hey, deep threats are cool. And you love them because like that, they could take a possession and make it a 2-play drive and into the end zone. But what's most valuable to a quarterback are guys that can win. Why do you think Brady always loved the shifty slot receivers? Why do you think Brady always loved the back out of the backfield, the James Whites, the Danny Woodheads, the Rex Burkheads, the I don't know if he ever played with Rex Burkhead. He may have. I think he did play with Rex Burkhead. The Shane Vereen's, and then the original Brady back, Kevin Falk. Why do you think he always loves those guys? Why do you think he loves Julian Edelman? Why do you think he loved Wes Welker, Danny Amendola? Because they get open. And on third down, if it's a blitz or if third down and I need somebody to undress somebody and get open, I know that guy's going to win. That's what Travis Kelce is for Patrick Mahomes. You're damn right he's more valuable than, Tyreek Hill. He's a bigger target. He gets open. He knows how to win. Look, Tyreek Hill, excellent football player, dynamic, changes the way defenses play you, all of that good stuff. All right. But you see how they just moved on from him? Went out and got 2 or 3 guys. There wasn't going to be one guy to replace him. But they went out and got 2 or 3 guys, and they're like, hey, we'll be fine. There ain't no replacing Travis Kelce. You can go out and get 2, 3 more tight ends. They're not going to be able to do what Travis Kelce does in one body. See, you can put 3 or 4 different receivers on the field at a time. Ain't nobody running an offense with 3 or 4 different tight ends on the field at once. If you're doing that, then you're running the ball more likely than not. Kelce can do everything in one frame. What really amazes me is his run after the catch. I'm like, is this dude really that hard to tackle after he catches the ball? Because amazingly enough, he catches the ball and then he breaks 2 or 3 tackles and he's in the end zone. He does it against the Chargers. He did it against the Raiders. You're just like, damn, can nobody get this man down? He's got a nice stiff arm. I will give him credit for that. But I'm like, shit, is he that good? Of course he is. We know the answer to that. HTTR Carson writes, Chiefs still the class of the AFC. I think they are the Astros of the NFL even. I think that's a good analogy. I've likened them to Golden State. I think the Astros is a good one. They're always going to be around. I mean, the Dodgers, you call them whatever you want. The Astros, the Dodgers. I mean, up until this year, the Dodgers seemed like they were in the, World Series almost every year for the NL. Obviously, they didn't make it last year, but they're at bare minimum in the NLCS, right? Or CS, Championship Series. Yeah. So, but the Astros, I think, are a better comparison because they've been to the World Series, 4 times in the last 6 years, I think. Going back to they played 2017, 2019, 2021, 2022. So 4 times in 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So yeah, 4 times in 6 years. Let's see. All right. Take like 2 more. Hank Midas. We need to beat the Falcons next week and the Niners to be able to go to the playoffs. 9-8. I don't think 9-8 is getting it done. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think 9-8 is getting it done in either conference. Red Wings 01 writes, hard to believe that Kelsey is 33 now. He's just so dominant. It's crazy that at 33, it seems like he's in the prime of his career, but he plays a position that you can play for a very long time if you take care of your body, and he does. And it's just amazing watching him play. It's like he always knows where to, and a lot of that too is the chemistry between he and Mahomes. They know what each other's thinking, where to be. They demand a lot out of each other. I've watched so many Chiefs games over the years, and you see like Mahomes is very animated when it comes to Kelce. He gets on Kelce. Kelce's hard on himself. When Kelce drops a ball or he fumbles or something, he loses it, right? Throws his helmet. He's pissed off at himself. He's cussing this, that. Like, he's hard on himself. And Mahomes is hard on him. And they hold each other accountable. More so Mahomes holding Kelce accountable. I don't really see, Kelce coming back to the huddle, screaming at, Patrick Mahomes like, hey, I told you I was going to win to the outside. You got to put but you see Kelce, Mahomes come up to him like, come on, man. Told you to get out there. He can't cover you. You were supposed to run that option and switch out. And you'll see Kelce like, snatch off his helmet, mad. Like, there's a standard that they uphold each other to. And it's just amazing how dominant he is. I don't know how he doesn't go down as the greatest tight end when it's all said and done. I mean, he's 33, and I don't see the end in sight. I mean, he's putting up some of the greatest individual tight end seasons we've ever seen. He's putting up ridiculous numbers year after year after year. He's going to do it again this season. And as long as he's got Patrick Mahomes, and Mahomes isn't going anywhere, clearly, he's going to continue to put up these numbers. It's just amazing. All right. Let's see. All right, got a super chat here. Clapping Big Texas Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, nah, Lou, it's early. Rank every team worst to best. Get out of here, man. Clapping Big Texas Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, what's your favorite color? Colors. Favorite color is red. Like the bloodshed from Kurt Cobain's head as he shot himself dead. That might have went over some of y'all head. But really, my favorite color is red. Clapping Big Texas Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, bucket list, favorite fish, best vacation. I don't have a favorite fish, although I do like fish. Best vacation, I don't know. We've been to some really good places. I would say my favorite one so far has been Tulum. Bucket list. Got a few items on it. Keep that to myself right now, though. Chaotic. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Chaotic writes, Lou, Ron said I can pick you up and he'll meet up. He says, let's start this over. Ron said I can pick you up and he'll meet up. Hopefully your family is well. God bless and good night. Again, if everybody's cool with me getting back in the whip, I'll get back in. But I told you, I feel bad. I feel bad because I didn't uphold my end of the bargain. And I hold a lot of you to a standard, you know, and I chastise you sometimes when you guys go off the deep end. And I'm usually the voice of reason and the guy that reels you back in when you're thinking about jumping ship or getting off the boat. I'm the guy that throws you a life raft when you've gone out into the deep end. I didn't adhere to that, my own advice. You know, I got emotional, and again, I feel bad about that because I said what I was going to do and I didn't do what I said, and that's not who I am. That's not what I stand for. So anyway, likewise, man, God bless and good night, man. Hope you and your family are doing well. Mine are doing well. Thank you so much. Clapping Big Texas Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, top 20 vegan recipes. Oh, man, I got a lot of good vegan recipes. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be doing a lot of cooking on Wednesday. We'll talk about that during the week, though, for sure. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, shame that Hendon Hooker tore his ACL, a potential first-round quarterback whose draft stock is now in jeopardy. No Senior Bowl, Combine, Pro Day. Isn't that crazy? We were just talking about quarterbacks today on the stream, and I was just thinking about like how deep this quarterback draft class is going to be. And Hendon Hooker was one of those guys that, you know, wasn't getting a ton of pub, you know, because he wasn't, you know, the flashy guy. He wasn't Bryce Young. He wasn't C.J. Stroud. He wasn't Will, you know, I was about to call him Will Greer. The guy, Will Levis. Damn, I don't know why I blanked on his name that quick. He's not Will Levis. And yet I'm thinking Hendon Hooker might be the best of the group. Like he gets in there, gets in the right situation, and he could be really good. And then that's so unfortunate that he tears his ACL. I watched that. I literally watched him do it. I was watching that game against South Carolina. They were getting run, and he's running a speed option. He goes to pitch the football, and his knee just gives out. And I go, oh no. My wife is sitting there, and I scare her. And she's dozing off, and I go, oh no. Oh no. And I'm like, oh no. Like he plays for my favorite team or something. Because I never want to see anybody get hurt, especially a guy that busted his ass to put himself in that position. Tennessee came out of nowhere this year. Josh Heupel has done a magnificent job. And just like that, everything they worked for this season, beating Alabama and putting themselves in this position, dead. Dead, I tell you. He was going to be in the Heisman, discussion. He wasn't going to win it, but I think he would have gotten an invite. Had he finished the year, I think he would have gotten an invite to New York. That's dead too. It's a shame. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. I thank you guys for joining me. Damn, this was a good football game. AFC West family business at its finest. These are the two best teams in that division. They play each other so tough. These games always come down to the wire, and they always end in some type of fashion like this where we go, damn, that was a good game. It did not disappoint. They flexed Steelers, Bengals out of this game, out of this spot to move this game into it, and it lived up to the hype. Red Wing 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, did you see Zach Wilson's presser? The audacity of that guy. He refused to take accountability for a horrid performance. Jets on the market looks like. I was so disgusted with his presser. Beyond disgusted. They asked him, did he feel like, he let the defense down? No, not at all. Like, really? Bro, you threw for 77 yards today. You were horrible. You missed open receivers consistently throughout the day. Then he has the nerve to say, yeah, it was windy. Did you guys not see that? Yeah, that's the same win that Mac Jones went 20 of 26 in for 240 yards. Yeah, I saw the win, bro. You sucked the ass. That's what I saw. Yeah. And I was the biggest Zach Wilson fan, like to the point where I was like, yo, I might take him number one over, Trevor Lawrence. Boy, and again, some dudes aren't built for certain areas, and I don't think he was built for New York. New York was a little bit too much for him to handle, I think. That Big Apple, I think he took too big of a bite out of that apple, and it was too much for him to chew. It ain't for everybody. Just like I don't think Carson Wentz coming from North Dakota was made to be in Philadelphia. Like, if he would have gotten drafted by the Colts, I think his career would have been totally different. But I was so disappointed in him today. He showed his ass today in that presser. I was like, this is the shit y'all dealing with in New York? I'm glad he ain't my quarterback. I wasn't going to bring it up, but since you brought it up, yeah, that was some shit. Cam Sims, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, did you see who else tore at ACL today? I feel so bad. You're right, man. Come on now. That shit was weak, Luck. Shit was weak. You're right. Fat American, thank you for the super chat. And greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, starting to think Ron might know what he's doing. I can't help but keep repeating this over and over again. I don't like to be the guy that does this, but I have to do it. And I remember telling y'all this when we were 1-4, and I was like, I know y'all don't want to hear this shit. I don't even feel like saying it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Third season in Carolina, Ron started 1-3. The crowd was restless. They wanted to run him out of town. They went 12-4, won 11 out of their final 12 games of the season, went 12-4. We started 1-4. I'm not saying hands up. I'm just saying that's 5 out of 6. I'll leave it at that. I will leave it at that. Anyway, I digress. Y'all get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Look forward to chopping it up with y'all tomorrow. And like I said, I'm going to explain how this week is going to go because there are going to be a lot of changes, clearly, because of Thanksgiving. You know how I am, big family guy. I want you to enjoy your week. But normally I would take a bye week. I'm not taking a bye week this year. in November. I'm going to take my bye week in December. So stay tuned for that. But enjoy. What a game we got to cap off what was a fun. I mean, Patriots, Jets, Bengals, Steelers was a crazy game. The Titans, the Colts and the Eagles was a crazy game. We had the Falcons and the Bears was a crazy game. We had a lot of close finishes, crazy games. This caps off what was a really good Sunday of football. So you guys take care. As always, get off the bench, get in the game, and kick it with me, your man, Louie T. Until next time, God bless and good night.
LouieTeeNetwork.